Yo, what is up, you guys? It is your boy Zan, and it's been a while since I've done a tutorial Tuesday. We're gonna get right to it, and I'm gonna show you guys a preview of what this is gonna sound like. First thing I wanna tell you guys is this activate Windows thing right here. I bought Windows 7, but when I upgraded to 10 for free, it's telling me that I need to repurchase it, so that's like BS. But yeah, I haven't seen any good tutorials on how to make like that kid Illenium Porter Robinson slash my type of style in EDM. So I thought I'd just make this tutorial and show you guys how to make this kind of drop in under 10 minutes. It's already done, and I'm gonna give it away for free. So here it is. Okay, so as you guys can see, that sounds, of course, like my style, and similar to like Porter Robinson, Illenium, and Kid. Like I said, I haven't seen really any really good quality tutorials on how to make like that exact sound. Like they did some kind of similar, but always sounded kind of flat, and it wasn't exactly, like that punch that you wanted. So I just decided, why not make a tutorial Tuesday? I haven't done one in a while. As for what plugins you're going to need, I actually, when I made this project, I went in here keeping in mind the people who might not have too many plugins. So I went with Salinth, Serum, and Camel Crusher. I think those are the only VSTs I used throughout this whole project. I used the stock FL reverb instead of a Holla just because I don't know if you guys have that or not. And I want to make sure that when you guys get this FLP that you guys are able to actually use it. And the presets that I'm going to put in the description for free, so you guys could go down there and download for free and get this project. Enough rambling. Okay, so we're going to get into it. I'm just going to walk through each step of what I did to achieve this sound, basically. Instead of me starting from scratch, it's just better this way. All right, so the first thing is the saws. So I picked, it actually matters how you stack your chords. Instead of having just 3 notes, I suggest having at least 7. So that means when you go into Salinth, when you do saws like this, you want to have a very high polyphony, because if you don't, then some of the notes that you play are going to get cut off. So yeah, so I have a pretty basic chord structure here, and it's 7 notes, and then I just pretty much took those and chopped them up so it sounds like this. So that's what it pretty much sounds like. Okay, as for the processing on the synth, all I did was add a parametric EQ. Before you guys start getting, oh my gosh, she's not doing subtractive EQing, why are you boosting it? You freaking like Carnage or something like that. It's I don't know, it just works for me. I still get good mixes, because what you can always do is just do this. You could take this and put it down. It's pretty much like subtractive EQing and then boost the volume, but I mean, it works for me. I get good mixes, so it doesn't really matter. This mix isn't that great because it's like freaking smashed. All the dynamics are smashed and stuff because of the limiter, but whatever. Okay, I'm rambling again. All right, but yeah, that's pretty basic. I had a reverb automation on here. So what that does is every time the chords stop playing, when that little white noise comes in, the reverb, I did an automation clip, so then it would turn the wetness up during the silent part, so it has like this this sweeping effect. So let me give you an example. So that's what that pretty much does. I put a stereo enhancer on here. Every saw that I always have a stereo enhancer. It just makes it a lot wider. Sound goodizer. I put a sound goodizer on a lot of my basses and on my saws, and that's pretty much it for the saws. As for the sound, I'm gonna put it in the description anyways, but this is just a basic saw that I made. I have tutorials from my previous videos on how I made this, but I'm gonna have the preset in the description. The next thing is the kick. Now, this is a kick that I use pretty often in my tracks. It's actually from a Freeside Mags kit. I just processed it just a little bit. I added a multi-band compressor, and I have this one preset that I made. I called it new kick, or yeah, I always have it under new kick. But these are the multi-band compressor settings, and listen to the before and after of this kick when I turn it on and off. So this is the before without the compressor, and this is the after with the compressor. So it's just a lot more punchy. Instead of just turning the volume up, it just adds a lot more tightness to the low end. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the kick. And like I said, it's a free kick pack from Cymatics. You can find it. I don't know if it's still free, but I know it was free at the time when I downloaded it. The next thing is just a sidechain signal, which I have everything, all the synths routed to one send, which I have a limiter on here. These are the settings. I have a tutorial on how to sidechain as well, so I don't really have to explain this. But yeah, it's a pretty heavy sidechain. Like the threshold is super low and it's pretty high ratio. And yeah, just use this little silent tick as a signal, so then it sidechains to that signal. Next thing, we have this little white noise that goes like this. Now this is like literally the most simple thing to make in here. Some people think that stuff is like super hard when people do those like glitches, like Illenium and Porter and Kid do those glitches. It's really easy actually. All you do is literally initialize a patch and then turn it into a white noise waveform, and then just cut the lows out and then add a stereo enhancer to it, and that's all it takes, and then add some sidechain to it. So that sound is super simple. Next sound. Okay, that's a sub. I actually always use a preset from Serum instead of making my own sub because their sub is just that good. It's called Sub Disca whatever. You go to bass and it's right down here. This is pretty much the only stock preset I use from Serum, but it's really good. What I did to the sub for processing is literally just cut out all of like anything that's, I just pretty much low passed it. That's it. And then anything that is above 295 hertz, I just cut. And then I boosted it just a little bit, and then I turned it down. And that's it. Without the EQ, it sounds like this. It has like this little tick to it. It's pretty annoying. So I just do that instead. So next sound. This is actually a sound that I made a while ago. So yeah, this was my Zan Wow bass that I used in all of my Zan Wow tracks. And yeah, I'll include the preset in the description. I'm not gonna really explain how I made this, but the processing on it is like this. Without FX, this is what it sounds like. With FX, this is what it sounds like. So I pretty much had a Camel Crusher, which is actually a free plugin, so you can go download that off of splice.com and you'll be able to get Camel Crusher. Amazing plugin. I use it like on every single project and all my basses. That's how I get like that really grimy feel. That I added a vocodex. I have this one preset named Wubs, and I use that preset, I believe. And then I just have the signal halfway up, or not even halfway, but like a little bit like lower than halfway, just so it's not overwhelming. Sound goodizer, and EQ, where I just cut out anything below like 100 hertz, and that's pretty much it for that sound. So next sound. So this is another sound that I made. I actually had this in a preset pack a while back. I call this like the Zanwell bass pluck. Like I said, it'll be in the description. I took this, I added stereo enhancer to it. Instead of having it as like a bass, I mean, it's still kind of a bass, but it's more of like a mid bass, and I just cut out a whole bunch of lows, so it's pretty much high past at 163 hertz, and it's like a crap ton of distortion added onto it. It's a vocodex preset that I made and a Camel Crusher, and that is pretty much it for that. Next sound. This is another sound. This actually came from a Cymatics pack. I just tweaked it just a little bit and like took the reverb filter that they had on there and then just tweaked the FX, took the reverb off of there too, and then brought it into my mixer and just added an EQ, just pretty much took out those lows, and then added Camel Crusher. This stuff is actually really simple to make drops like these. It's not as complicated as people make it seem like it is. Next sound. This is actually a wider saw, so what I do is I pretty much get rid of all the mid signal on this, so then it could really be like really, I sound like freaking Carnage, really, but it it allows for a really wide stereo field, if that makes sense. I'm bad at like terminology, but what I do is I take the stereo enhancer, I do a phase offset mostly to the left, and then I take the stereo separation, turn that all the way up to the left, so then it's pretty much all in stereo. There's like no mono signal, and it's pretty much the same EQ as the last one, and a sound goodizer, and then some reverb, which is same thing as the last one. There's automation right here. Next sound. Okay, so this is like that. This is how you get that Porter sound. Whenever you use this sound, people can be like, "Oh my gosh, freaking Porter, bro, trying to copy Porter." It's a really basic ARP that I made a while ago. I actually gave this one away too. Yeah, really basic ARP that I made, and then I just layered it twice. Let me see. Yeah. So I just took the chords, and then I had them go in 2 different octaves. And then, so it's 8 notes playing at the same time, and I believe it's like a 1/16 or 132, 1/32, yeah, 1/32 ARP time. And yeah, that's pretty much like the ARP that I use. And then as far as processing, basic EQ, reverb, stereo enhancer, sound goodizer, like basic stuff. This is just a white noise just to have on top for more high end. And yeah, so if you a good way to make up for high end in a track, instead of adding another saw, or I mean not adding another saw, but instead of turning the high end up on a saw, I recommend that you just get some white noise and you EQ that, and then you have a pretty wide what's the word, stereo separation, I guess. And yeah, and then that's a good way to have like some high end added in there without like freaking boosting the EQ too much, because then a lot of times that's not going to really work too well. So that's that. Then I have like this reverse kick. It adds like a little bit more oomph to it, I guess. Excuse me. Sorry for how much I'm saying oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. But the next sound that I use is actually a cymbal, and what this does is it adds a lot. So I'm gonna play the whole thing right now, but I'm gonna play it with and without the cymbal, so you can see how much a cymbal does. Which what they always say is you shouldn't really hear the cymbal, but you should feel it. So it shouldn't be overbearing, but you can tell it's there. So this is what it sounds like without the cymbal. This is what it sounds like with the cymbal. So it just sounds a lot more complete. Like without it, sounds a little bit more dry and unfinished, and it's like it just feels like something's missing. So yeah, that's like a cymbal I got from a Vengeance pack, and the processing's really simple. It's just a stereo enhancer, and that's it. I should probably actually add an EQ, take some of this low end out. No. Okay, there we go. Okay, just to make sure. Next thing is like this little vocal chop that I got from a Cymatics pack. I just took a little chop. So this is what the chop sounds like. And all I did was I went in here, I turned the time on, I turned the attack all the way down, the release all the way down, so then I could play it like a synth. And then I went into the miscellaneous, and then I turned on portamento, so then they could slide when I hit different notes. As far as the processing goes, I just added an EQ, took all the low end out, some reverb, stereo enhancer, really simple, and then I was able to get a really cool sound. So that's that. And then pretty much the last sound in the first drop, or like the first part of the drop, is this little tom that you'll hear in a lot of Porter and Illenium and Kid songs, and some of my songs too. So this is just pretty much like a 80s tom that I got from a Lex Luger pack, and then I just turned the stereo separation up and then the volume up pretty high, so then they could be pretty present in the mix. Okay, so the second part of the drop. Okay, so I didn't really add too much to the second part. It's just enough to make it like worth the wait, I guess. So it's a piano, and I used FL keys just so then I don't have to use VSTs for you guys, because I want to make sure that you guys can actually use this project file. So I just used FL keys, turned the hardness and pretty much everything that has to do with hardness and velocity all the way up. So it's really, it has like a really short attack. Now it's like a crap ton of reverb. You could take that off if you wanted to. But yeah, it's a lot of reverb. I put it on top of a compressor, and on this compressor it actually, like, just by the settings alone you could tell what it does. It's hard to explain, but it's like the attack, it has like a sustain to it. I guess that's the best way to explain it. When you hit a note, it sustains all the way through when it has some release, so everything is like really even. So if I took everything off and did before after, so this is before the compressor, this is after the compressor, so it just sounds a lot better. It's used in a lot of music, especially for example in Matzo and Porter Robinson's Easy, they use this technique. But yeah, and then I add a reverb on top of that, so the reverb also sustains, then a stereo enhancer, then a parametric EQ, and but yeah, that's pretty much it for that sound. Then we have the snare slash clap. I think that's what this is right here. Yeah, this is from a Cashmere pack. It's literally, I didn't even add anything to it. I just put it in the mixer. I took that output down a little bit so then it wouldn't be as long. Where the hell is it? Right here. I just took the output down so then it wouldn't be so long, and that's it. Turn it down. It's like kind of in the background, but it's like a little tail there, like the reverb tail just helps a little bit, like with the space with the snare, instead of it being so tight like these ones are. So this, I layered a clap, a stadium clap from the Cashmere pack, and another snare from the Cashmere pack, and this is what it sounds like. So literally, like, barely any processing, literally just cutting out the low end and boosting the high end, and adding some reverb. And I believe that is it for this whole song. This is pretty much how you make an Illenium slash Porter drop. I don't know if this was under 10 minutes. If it wasn't, then I'll say under 15 or under 20 minutes. But yeah, sorry if I ramble. I'm just trying to be very detailed with what I did, so then when you guys have this project file or the sounds, you guys can like replicate what I did. And yeah, so I'll play it through one more time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. It was more of a walkthrough than a tutorial, but yeah, I hope you guys appreciate me giving away these sounds and this project file for free. I would love for anyone who's new to this channel to go check out my music. I have a Zodiac project in collaboration with Peter Moorbacher, an artist who did the art for the card game Magic, and it's released under Seeking Blue, which is Mr. Suicide Sheep's label, and it's a really special project I've been working on for a while, so I appreciate anyone new to the channel to go check it out. If you guys like the video, make sure you leave a like. If you guys think it'll help some of your other producer friends or an aspiring producer, make sure to share this video with them. And yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day or night or whatever time it is, wherever you are. Peace.